The show today, Susan talks about confidence. Our symbol for today is men, what they mean in dreams. And as always, we interpret the dreams you sent in during the week. Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about dreams, guidance and healing. I'm Michael Sheridan, and with me in studio is Susan Pullen, our healer and life coach.
Hello.
And with us, joining us via Skype, is Heidi Brooke in Ireland, our resident medium. I don't know if you're resident anymore, Heidi, with you being in Ireland. She probably has mute on, but she can hear us. If anybody calls in today on 425-373-5527 and has a question for Heidi, you will get an answer. So keep that in mind, and also call in with your dreams or questions for Susan. So what are we going to say? We're going to talk about confidence this week, and we're going to talk about the male character. Do you want to
tell male characters in dreams?
Yeah, what they can mean.
Yeah.
So we have a little piece here on that, just a tiny bit. So male characters and the male aspect is dominated by your father, career, and the outer world. It includes aggression, assertiveness, courage, security, responsibility, drive, sex drive, ambition, creativity, healing, managing and controlling. So it's quite a lot of things. So men can show up in your dreams for any of those reasons. And of course, other symbols in the dream will tell you what the particular aspect is. And it doesn't always have to if it's your dream, of course, because you'll know what your issue is. If you're lacking confidence, which is going to show up in dreams as a male problem, then you already know that. And it could be specific to a particular area of your life, of course. So problems with the male aspect are shown as males injured, ill, or disabled, or missing, as we're going to see in some of the dreams that we've got for later for you. So I am going to start off. I actually have a few dreams that I'm going to put aside. So here's one. It says, in my dream, I inherited a farmhouse in upstate New York that used to be in the family. It's nighttime and my husband has to go to work. Animals from a zoo have escaped, and as I am saying goodbye to my husband, I see a tiger hiding in the bushes. I get a little scared and lock the front porch door and windows. My husband reminds me it's not safe for a woman to go out at night in the woods. I then go to the back of the house in the kitchen and lock the back door. So, not a great dream, but it's very specific. The tiger gives us the meaning. We're probably going to do colours one of these weeks. We've probably done lots of colours over the time. But the colour of a tiger, black and white stripes, always makes it about career. And it's so common. It's really strange to see how many times tigers will show up in dreams about career. So
black and orange.
Black and orange. Did I say black and white? Thank you. Of course they do have. I was thinking they have a white stripe, but I won't mention that. And of course, then I did a Freudian thing. So it's about career. So then the question is, what's going on for you career-wise? With it, and it can be around your husband. So like if you have one breadwinner, of course, it still affects you too. And if it not, then the reason it's your husband in the dream is because it's a male side. It's a male energy thing. But locking the front porch and the windows, that's not good in the dream. We obviously always in dreams, we shouldn't be afraid of anything, and we should be able to just take anything that comes at us in the dream at all. So locking it is saying that you're shutting down as a response to this. So I'm looking for the right pages here to have a look at the next dream, and I finally have it. Oh, we have a great quote for you later on today. There's a reason Susan's laughing. Okay, so here's one. I walked out of the woods onto a street on my way home. It was dusk, just getting dark. I saw a man on the left side of the road I was crossing. His truck was parked on the side of the road. He was walking towards me fast. I was scared and kept walking away from him. He started talking, saying he needed to use a phone to call for assistance. His truck had broken down. I didn't trust him, but thought maybe he really needed help. I kept walking, but told him I'd call. I got my phone out to show him I was calling 911. I saw a group of people on the left side of the road walking in a group and walked quickly to catch up with him. Okay, so we're going to do a few dreams from this dreamer. And this one clearly shows trust issues connected with dad. And of course, it's going to be connected with dad in childhood. Taking the phone out is good. This shows you have a communication ability too. So you're a channel. And it works well. We don't see specifically in the stream exactly how it works for you. So I won't get into that. But The group shows you're a leader that works with groups, and that's because we have the group. You're catching up with a group in the dream. So that's really good to see that. So getting the phone out and catching up with the group, even though you're doing it out of fear in the dream, it's still good that you're doing it. And that shows that you have a leadership ability, and we'll expect to see more obvious symbols of leadership in your dreams, and we do it in one that's coming up. And all these dreams, I think, are in the same night. And catching up with the group is you catching up with your spirituality, or it's on the way, because they were ahead of you on the path, but you had to speed up to catch up with them.
And the truck, is that about career in that?
Well, that's a male symbol, so that can say it's about dad. Even just the truck alone in a dream can say it's about dad. But yeah, her career is going to involve working with groups. But the bigger thing is the dad thing. So let's see, what's the next one? Oh yeah, and this person was actually asking the question, even in this email. She says, you told me before that I'm a healer, and I'm just not sure about it yet. And she sent these dreams, and I love this dream then. It says, I'm preparing for an event. It was outdoors. I made Rice Krispy treats, the dessert. And of course, straight away, when you see the word treat and the other symbols that show up in your dream, it's about you treating others, like a doctor treating people. So fantastic to see that there. Every dream has a pun. It's quite good if you can catch it. I ran out of time and didn't have time to decorate the room. One of the other parents did it for me. The room had the word Nashville all over it, but we weren't in Nashville. Means nothing to me. I know that's to do with country music. I decided to let it go because I just wanted to be ready. Then we were getting everything ready, getting stuff out of cars, and someone had eaten all the Rice Krispy treats, all but 3 of them. I was not upset and ate one. After that, we were outside and a herd of horses ran by. They were beautiful. That's the part that's brilliant, isn't it? The herd of horses. Because a herd of horses is the more common symbol for spiritual healing. That's hands-on healing, that ability that you have. And of course, realize if you have that ability, there are some legal requirements in particular states before you can use it. So watch out for that. Don't just start using it. Washington is one of them. And what else have I got here? The 3 asks you to commit to using your ability. But I really love the herd of horses, because there's no way then that you can contradict the meaning of this dream. Because if you look up my dictionary in my book, you will see I have treat described and I have horses described, both saying that they mean the same thing. So that's really cool.
And, and this is someone who took your course too, right? So
yes,
would be very familiar with the vocabulary, so to speak.
In a way, she only just took it. This was the one a few weekends ago. So it's still kind of new. But I think people still want to know, if it's something that they're told that's new, or they've been told it before, but they really don't connect with it. It's understandable that you would then say, okay, look, prove it to me again and again and again. And the dreams, of course, they're going to do that.
Yeah, and we did that. We did a dream last week as well that had a similar kind of thing where you had told someone about a gift they had, and they didn't believe it, and then their dream confirmed.
But it's common, it's the whole idea of moving into what your life purpose is and what your spiritual abilities are, using those. It's such a change in your way of living that, most of us don't do it. Most of us don't start using our abilities at all. And we were talking about this a lot last week, and talking about you, for instance. And it took you probably 2.5 years to take the plunge, and it's understandable. And of course, everybody thinks you're crazy because you did it, but, including you at times.
Yeah, at times. No, it's good.
So, okay, last one from this dreamer. I'm in a huge house with lots of rooms and people, some kind of gathering with lots of children. Adults were in charge of them. We were all assigned rooms and activities. I got lost and was alone in a small room. I looked out the window. I looked towards the front door. President Obama was there with his family. They were all dressed up and looked very happy. President Obama was carrying Sasha, even though she was her current age, which is around 13. He saw me, smiled and waved. So, okay, I said we'll expect to see other symbols of leadership in your dreams. And President Obama, of course, is the ultimate one because he's the president of America at the moment. So you definitely have it. He recognizes it in you because he waves to you and smiles. So he recognizes in the dream, he's a guide, of course, and recognizes the inner leadership ability that you have. And I say this every time I talk about leadership. It's a female energy trait that works with an open and compassionate heart. It's not the type of leadership that we typically associate with leadership, going into battle, that type of thing. It's female energy. Anyway, I was thrilled and went to tell others. At this time, all the people were splitting off into groups. I was with a teacher friend of mine, and we were supervising a large group of children, all different ages. So you're meant to work with children, by the way, because we see that so repeatedly in your dreams. And that's good. I went to do something, and when I came back, they were gone. I asked others and looked all around. There were so many rooms in the house, one leading to another. And this is really good in a dream, and it's common enough when you see somebody's starting to question what their abilities are or what their life is about. They tend to have dreams where they find extra rooms in their own house, like a whole wing, and it's like, oh my gosh, I never explored this. Sometimes you realize, oh yeah, I explored this in childhood. I remember we had this wing. Or it might be a whole floor. Quite often it's an upstairs floor. It doesn't have to be, but just the fact that there's more to you than you currently realize, that's what it's all about. Anyway, she says, I finally found them downstairs in a big room playing and having fun with pillows and blankets. It was pretty dark, but I could see. I called to my friend Karen, who isn't a real friend, but there was no answer. So Karen will be a pun on caring. Don't know why I'm pointing that pun out, but there are puns. They always help. I left that room, and there was an older girl, about 15 years old, that needed some guidance on what to do. I showed her a table full of puzzle pieces all mixed up and asked her to put them all back together. She was happy to do it, and I left to go to another room. I found an older lady, about 60, sitting at a table. Another lady was with her. I sat across the table, listening to her. She was tired and didn't feel well. Well, that's good, because you're a doctor. We told her to rest. She was doing too much. I offered to do her job. She was reluctant at first, but agreed. She wasn't sure I could do it. She took me into the kitchen. So this not being sure I could do it is about you not being sure you could do it, not the other way around. And this, of course, has to do with your healing ability and your spiritual leadership one as well. But the healing because of what she was doing. She was a cook. And a cook serves food and drink, and that's another symbol for healing. So you've got plenty of them here. And then you say the stove had burners that burnt oil, and oil that you burn is another symbol for healing. So you've got them in spades here. She put oil into the burners and showed me how to light them. So that's good. That's like activating your ability. That's how to cook the fish. I didn't recognize the name of the fish, but I was to cook over 100 fish. I wasn't sure I wanted to do this, but I was committed to helping. So earlier we said she wasn't sure. Now you're saying you're not sure. So it's all the same thing. So let's see if I have any other notes on this one. Carrying the child tells me that you're good with kids. Okay, we said that before. And should be working with them. The lots of rooms, we covered that. The kids are in the dark, which means you're a little in the dark on this too. But you've got the ability to help kids find their light. And of course, you do light something in the dream. The old woman shows your reluctance. That's fine. Showing the girl how to make the puzzle is good. It shows you're sorting yourself out. Plus your ability to oversee others doing that too. So yeah, that's really good. So your ability is to help other people put the pieces together for themselves. And that's what spiritual leadership is really about. But your spiritual leadership works with groups. But you can do one-to-ones too. And then you're afraid, did you take on too much? No, is the answer. And the 100 fish is saying, one is, we should do numbers one time. Yeah. But one is about individuality and your individual path. And the 2 zeros are saying that this is your goal. And I would even go with the 10. Dreams exaggerate, so you knock a digit off, saying that this is a completion. So when you start doing this, this is going to be the completion of a phase for you. So it's going to feel really, really, really good. Any questions on? No? I thought you were going to ask me a question. That's directed at Susan. So here is another one. I'm in a hotel at a conference trying to get to the dining room. I took an elevator, racing another group of people trying to get there first. So hotels are going to be about reception at birth, and the conference, I've said many times before, is about pre-birth. So this dream is about you coming into your body. At the base of a left curving staircase, I am blocked by a tan rolled up large rug. I crawled underneath and got to the top to find an apartment. Okay, so just stopping there. Crawling through this rug. So this is the difficulty getting into the earth plane, getting into being born. So very symbolic. I think we might have even talked about this last week, did we? Or the week before.
When we were talking about birth.
So here, when the entrance is difficult and you have to crawl through, we typically, there's a door, there's a normal way to do it, but we find we have to do it a very difficult way. And that's perfect in your dream. So definitely symbolizing birth. Anyway, you crawl underneath it and you get to find an apartment with a player a playing tape player on a bed and a beautiful fireplace painted lavender. The lady who lived there said it did not go through to the hotel. So the lady is going to be your mom, because the first person you meet, first person that's important, first female that is, that's important in your life when you're born is your mom. So this is definitely about your mom, and it's saying that you still play in your head the tape that your mom set up for you in childhood. So you have to deal with issues with your mom that block you, because here you're trying to get through to the hotel, and of course you find that you're in an apartment. Apartment is to do with the heart. So female energy thing, connected with mom, working the issues with mom. And then we also have the fireplace, which is also another symbol for the heart. So why does it show up here? Fireplace being a symbol for the heart, because there's a pun in there as well. The fireplace is the heart. Mm-hmm. So we should have said this show was all going to be about puns. But anyway, the lavender color tells us it's your responsibility. So the dream is saying you've come into this world to work on sharing, your issues to do with sharing. And that's really good for you to know, Lisa. So because, why is it good to know? Because you would find, okay, I have difficulty in these situations and I think they hold me back. But when you realize that, no, this is what your life is about, is dealing with the fact that you have difficulty in this situation. So life is achieving its goal by putting you into these difficult situations where you're not comfortable sharing, where you're not, where you don't open up. And of course, the whole thing is to make you do it, force you to realize that you have that issue and then deal with it. So something like cutting the ties with your mom would be the easy antidote for this. There's nothing in the dream about any physical issues. So that's fine. And just before we take a break, we have Jan on the phone line. So we say, hello, Jan, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. And you have a dream or a question?
I do. It's a dream that's been bothering me for a couple of days. In the dream, I'm in a room that's like kind of in a basement, and my ex-husband's there, and he's giving me a hug, and he's telling me that he's finally the kind of family man that he thinks that he should have been. And we walk out of the room, and when we're walking to like what I think is a hotel lobby, when I realize that I've left my purse back in this room. So I go back and I can't find the room. I'm searching and searching, and it's like I'm downstairs in kind of a dark space, but there were rooms that you could, check out, but I couldn't find the room. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at a big swimming pool, and there's all these people and these kids in the swimming pool. And I asked them if they know where the Hilton Gardens is, this hotel, and nobody knows. So I go back outside, and I'm walking on a sidewalk, and I realize the sidewalk ends, and I have to climb up this kind of hilly, rocky area to get to the top, to get over to the other side where the sidewalk continues. And there's a man up there with a group of people who's eating barbecue, and he wants to know if I want to join him for barbecue. And I do, and then I climb down the rocks, and I get back on the sidewalk, and then I woke up, and I was really glad when I woke up, because I realized I still hadn't found my purse.
Okay, when you say purse, because it's different where I come from, do you mean like your handbag that contains everything, including your wallet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that in a dream represents responsibility. So this is, the dream is saying this is something that you need to look after, because think about what you would do with your purse. You would be exactly like you are now. You would never leave it out of your eyesight unless you give it to a friend and say, watch that, I'm going here. So it's one of those things that's saying it's your responsibility. So you're going to have to fill in pieces because it was a long dream. You start off, you're with your ex in a basement. So
yes.
This is saying that it's connected with your past relationship. And he's saying that he's sorted out and he's become the family man that he thinks he should have been. So it's going to be about you. It's not about him. So
yeah.
How did that relationship affect you? And do you have kids together?
Well, no, we're not together at all. And he remarried, and we're friends. I mean, we're okay with each other and stuff. We have no problem with that. I thought maybe because we had a lot of financial issues due to his dealings and his lack of work ethic and all of that, then maybe that had something to do with it.
So that's what the family man means. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. So it's saying you're still affected by that. Are you in a relationship now?
No.
Okay, so it's saying you're still affected by that, and that blocks you. how long are you out of the relationship? Like, it must be a while because you say he's married now. And
for 16 years. And you're right, because when I do think about dating, I always think about the hassle of dealing with somebody in finances. Okay. Bingo, right?
Okay, so the dream is saying it's your responsibility to deal with that. And of course you'd say, okay, I've wasted years, or may say to yourself, I've wasted years because I haven't been in any strong relationships, or haven't committed myself, would be more the way to put it, into relations because of exactly what you said. But the dream is saying, okay, this is part of your growth process. Going into that relationship, getting those issues, and then growing as a result of them and discovering yourself despite those setbacks. And it's that rediscovery of ourselves. And of course, we find more of ourselves when we do this. That's really the whole point of it. Now, the hotel is about reception at birth, just like it was in the last dreams. So it's saying that your issues with that, the things that cropped up in that relationship, actually go back to issues that came from childhood. And it's going to be issues with dad because, well, what we tend to do is we marry a person with the same traits as the parent we had most issues with. So the gender doesn't have to match, but most likely here, because you met a man at a barbecue, it's saying that the issues that you've got, your husband just exasperated them or highlighted them more, but they really were there before the relationship. And so deal with the issues in childhood, because you have the kids swimming in a swimming pool and all that sort of stuff. So we know it goes back to childhood, and we see that you can't get to the hotel, the road's blocked and all that. So we know the blockages are connected with childhood. So the place to start is deal with the issues with your dad in childhood, work on those, and then work on the issues with your husband, and it'll just open up life for you completely again. All male energy stuff, but it'll take away the projection that you would have. And the basement, I should say, says it's a subconscious thing. So you will subconsciously project onto any potential suitor or man you meet that these issues could be there. And it's almost like you're looking for them rather than looking at the person that you've just met. But of course, the thing is, when we deal with our issues, we no longer attract into our lives the person with the same traits as the partner we left. So, that's all the reason to do it. And I know I've skipped some pieces because I just don't remember them. Have you written down pieces that I haven't covered, Susan?
Barbecue?
The barbecue. Okay. The man eating the barbecue. So there is going to be something in that. I didn't forget that one, but I was kind of skipping it. But since Susan said it. So you look at, it's going to be something like, for instance, comfort eating or digestive system problems. And if they're digestive system problems, they'll go way back because of the fact that it's a hotel. Have you any questions about the dream or any comments?
I think it makes perfect sense because it's some of the stuff that I just started working on. And so I think the dream probably is bringing that.
Absolutely, it will. It will.
When you explained it, this is the stuff that I've been working on in the last probably 6 months. So that makes total sense to me now.
Great, and that's really important. If you're working on something, then it's going to show up in your dreams. So it can look like, I have all these issues, but your dreams get stronger when you start working on yourself because you're digging, you're looking to see what's below the surface. So you're in the basement on purpose. So the dream is saying anyway, the very important thing is that the key thing in this dream is that it's your responsibility. So it's not, I got messed up because of this relationship. It's your responsibility to get yourself out of that because that's part of what your life path is.
Right. Okay, got it. Thank you. That's perfect.
Thanks for the call.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with you in a moment. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favourite colour?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan, and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening, and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
Want to hear something different from talk radio? The choice is clear. Alternative Talk 1150 AM.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Susan Pullen, Heidi Brooke and Michael Sheridan. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing. And our phone number, if you want to call, is 425-373-5527. If you have a dream-related question, you want to connect with your guides for advice, or you can call with questions for Susan about healing and changing old life patterns. Once again, the number is 425-373-5527. So Susan, we are going to talk about confidence, or rather, you are going to talk about confidence and educate us.
Yeah, and to start with, I think you have a dream.
I do.
An example for us.
Okay. God, that was quick. Batted it right back.
That's right.
Okay, so this dream is called Stolen Child. And she says, I was walking outside with Thomas. He's nearly 3 years old. He's running out in front of me, and I'm chasing him. It's a game for him. He gets a little too far ahead of me, and I see a woman come out of nowhere and snatch him. She takes off running with him in her arms. He looks frightened. I'm running as fast as I can to get him back. She gets over a hill and then disappears. I'm in full panic. I'm looking everywhere for where she could have gone. I go home and let my husband know that Thomas has been stolen. He helps me look for him. We end up going into a Safeway-like facility, but it's very cold, stern and harsh environment, almost a dull grey over everything. The people look very hardened and not very nice. We end up talking to someone, my husband started the conversation, she says, who gives us a clue where this woman went with Thomas. They admitted to seeing both of them in the facility. I was thinking that these people are not as bad as my first impression, and I really appreciated them providing a direction. I follow the person's lead and find Thomas at the end of the dream. He was in a different location, and he was very happy to see me. The woman that took him was nowhere in sight. Okay, so going back to the top. So this is typical of dreams. Why do characters show up in your dreams? Why does somebody else's child, she doesn't have a child called Thomas, but why does somebody else's child show up in your dream? And why, she says he's 2, almost 3. So he shows up to tell you that you lost a connection with your male side at that age in reality. So then we know, okay, if it's childhood, it's going to be issues with your mom or with your dad. Straight away we know it's your mom because a woman appears and snatches the child. So we know issues with your mom in childhood cause you to lose confidence. Anyway, you say she takes off running. He looks frightened. That's fine. I'm trying to get him back. So this is work you're doing now, like the caller on the we just had. So you're doing work now to try restore your confidence. She gets over a hill and then disappears. I'm in full panic. Okay, not good in the dream, of course, but everything is exaggerated. Your husband helps you look for him. So that's really good. So this tells us it's a positive, supportive relationship. So sometimes when we see partners in a dream, I'll pick on the partner and I'll say, okay, issues with the partner there. Again, like the last caller. But a lot of the time, our relationships are a safe, comfortable space, and we see the woman going into a safe way. So it's saying you are now in a safe space to where you've got male support, that you can now work on the issues that you have in childhood and get that confidence back. So that's really, really good to see in the dream. And then we see other things you say. The Safeway facility is very cold, stern and harsh. Now that's going to be about your mom. She's cold, stern and harsh. And that's what affected you. That's what impacted you. The almost a dull grey over everything says that there was no emotion, no fun, no passion, so we don't have colourful. Did you say it's like saying my childhood wasn't very colourful? which is terrible. The people look hardened and not very nice. Okay, so you're just saying it again over and over. We get it. We end up talking to someone who gives us a clue where this woman went. They admitted to seeing both of them in the facility. So that's really good. So this is you coming out of, like, dropping that harshness or sternness that you copied from your mom, that you must have copied to some degree, which is why it's in the dream. And you're thinking, these people aren't as bad as your first impression. And that's very good to see in the dream. So to see things softening up is saying you're softening up. And anyway, it ends up with you find Thomas. So you find the child. So this is you reconnecting with your inner child from age 2 to 3 that got sideswiped because of issues with your mom. How's that? And how does that fit in with your theme?
How does that fit in with my theme?
I don't know, because I have no idea what you're going to say.
Oh.
So the question is to you. How does that? Well, the confidence side. So this is somebody who doesn't have confidence and very good at what she does. So a lot of the time we would think, oh, this person's really good. They're very confident. They're able to do X, Y, and Z. But we can apply formulas to things and be very good at things, but not necessarily feel the inner confidence, which is a completely different thing. So what would the difference be? If you were to throw somebody who is good at formulas, they would really be thrown. They wouldn't have the confidence to say, okay, yeah, let's do it this completely different way. That's interesting. They wouldn't have that. But they really should. So this dream is saying you should have that. You should have that ability because it's part of your nature. It was part of your nature and you only lost it at age 2. So when you get it back, it will be part of your nature again because it'll be familiar to you because you had it when you came.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now have I connected it?
That makes sense. Yeah, because I do think that it can be hard for us sometimes to see our own abilities. Well, and sometimes we've lost touch with them.
Yes.
But it's encouraging to know we can get it back and that it will be...
and an interesting thing is we see our abilities in other people. So we often hear everybody holds up a mirror to you, which is terrible in a way. It's a horrible statement, but it's also accurate in a lot of ways. It's very true in dreams. People are the mirror to you for abilities that you have that you don't recognize in yourself. So if you recognize somebody's ability with doing something, it's because of this mirror neuron thing we have. It's almost like that, that we recognize it because we can connect with it. And if we can connect with it, then we have that ability, or at least have the potential to develop that ability. Now, there's a difference. We can also see an ability with somebody and we go, okay, they can do that. I could never do it. I just acknowledge that they can do it. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where you really see it and understand and see how somebody is doing something, where they're coming from, why they're coming from it at that, with that angle, all the intricacies. You can see those and then still think, oh, I don't have that ability. But clearly you must have the ability to see that.
And so likewise, sometimes we don't see it in ourselves, but other people clearly see it in us.
Yes. Like you're a complete jerk, Michael. Oh, no. It was something different.
No, something else.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes we get distracted also because we get to comparing ourselves to other people and we think of them as being like further along or, better at things and we're not that far along and we should be further along and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's a very common one for people.
Yeah. But it really can undermine our confidence when we do that.
Yes, it's like I'd love to paint, but I couldn't, paint the Mona Lisa, so I won't bother.
Right. And so that's the other, I know that dreams will often talk about bring up confidence when they're encouraging us to embrace an ability that we have, a gift that we have.
Yes, absolutely. To have confidence in yourself that you have the ability. And a lot of the time using the ability, sometimes we have to start using it to develop the confidence, but we always say using your spiritual ability, whatever it is always going to help you grow. So one of the ways it can help you grow is to nurture that confidence within you or the recognition of that confidence. When enough people say to you, look, you're really good, you will start to believe it.
You start to absorb
and of course,
you
should have it the whole time.
Yeah. And sometimes, I will say, sometimes when we're starting to learn something new, we're not good at it.
No, and this is it's well known. It takes 10,000 hours or 10 years to get good at something. So The whole point is don't expect to be fantastic. I mean, that's very revealing. If you are that type of person that quits because you couldn't do it on the first try, then you're a bit of a perfectionist. And that's male energy gone wrong.
Yeah, and that'll show up in your dreams too, but that's for another day. So, and some people also have had an experience in childhood where, like, you were really good at something and you let that shine, and other people saw that you were really good at it, and then they were uncomfortable with it. So this happens with parents, sometimes with teachers, where like it's like it's bad manners to be really good at something, and so they tell you don't. Like don't show up the other kids. And so then we put it away and we get the message we shouldn't be good at that.
I didn't have that problem. Don't show them up. What?
I didn't either. But I know people who have had this experience. So I do want to
braggers.
No. And that's the thing is it gets really squashed in
No, that is a huge thing.
It is
that
a
is
huge
a huge
thing.
thing. And,
yeah.
and a lot of people then, one of the things that people drop in childhood a lot of the time is channeling, an ability to communicate with spirits because they don't want to be different.
Mm-hmm.
And then they lose the confidence in the ability because they haven't used it for ages. So I'll come across people who knew they could channel up until a certain age, for instance, or do something until a certain age. And when they're 50 and they meet me and I say, oh, you have this ability, they go, oh, not anymore. Mm. And they've completely lost their confidence in it. But it won't show up in the dreams if you don't have it. So, they definitely do.
Yeah. And we can get it back with practice.
Absolutely. And it generally doesn't take much practice.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Things that you brought with you, they don't take the 10,000 hours or 10 years. They just are spontaneous. And a lot of the time, it is just something like confidence that makes you hold back.
Right. And so if we can, the confidence makes us hold back from even practicing, where the practicing is the thing that would really...
Yes. Yeah. And some of the times it's kind of interesting. You could think, oh, I'm not good at a particular thing, but there's various ways of approaching it. And quite often if you practice, you will discover, oh, if I do it just a little bit differently, then I'm comfortable with it that way. I've got the confidence that way.
Yeah, and that's another tricky thing about comparing ourselves to other people is we get caught up in how they do it. We think we should be doing it that way, but that way doesn't really work for us.
Yeah.
We have our own way.
It's unique.
Yeah. So here are some other things that you can do to help boost your confidence. One of them is to remind yourself of past accomplishments and successes, or remind yourself of how you could do this before when you were young. Or
that's actually a very good trick for anything.
Yeah.
If you have a block in a particular area, don't focus on it anymore because you've limited yourself. You'll always see the block. So focus on something that you are good at, or something that's completely different. Maybe you don't even know you're good at, but it takes you off that, takes away the momentum that your thoughts give to that particular thing. And then you can approach it differently when you realize, oh, hey, I am successful. I can do this. And it can give you a completely new way of cutting into something.
Yeah. And then you mentioned, we were talking about how other people will see our abilities, even when it's hard for us to see it. And so if someone gives you positive feedback about something that you're able to do, that you're working on your confidence on, even like making a note of it, writing it down if it were verbal, or like printing it out if it was an email, and putting it somewhere where you can see it. Just, I think even that helps to boost your confidence because it helps it kind of sink in.
Somebody told me that, and I created a vision board, and every time I look at it, I go, oh, I haven't done anything on that.
Well,
I have.
Yeah, you have.
But it does keep it in your mind. It's not a block. It's like, where do you want to devote your time and energy?
Yeah. And this is a little bit different because it says you already have this.
Yeah.
Right? It's feedback from people saying, I already see this in you.
Yeah.
So, there's that old saying like, fake it till you make it, which I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but it actually can help with confidence.
Yeah, I've heard that one many times.
Yeah. So like...
act like you can do it.
Yeah, and tuning into just like the body language, the tone of voice, the the posture and everything of someone who's confident, and then copying that. Our mind is so our brain is so connected to our body that they really strongly influence each other, and so even our posture influences the way we think.
Absolutely. I was going to say my brain is very connected to my body. It's in fact completely inside my body.
Okay. Well, for some of us, we live more in our brain and not in our body. So
yes, actually, that person who climbed up the stairs under the rug, she lives in her brain.
She lives in her head, yeah.
That's what they're going upstairs. Most people come down the stairs for birth, so
yeah.
Good catch.
Yeah. Let's see. So, and then tapping into that confidence and like the, acting like you have it before going into a situation that might make you nervous. That can be helpful too.
Yeah, it's like you're not faking it, really. I mean, that's what the expression is good because it's short.
Right.
You're not really faking it. You do have the ability, and it's more like how do people who are confident, how do they act? Copy their traits. Be that way because that's what you need to nurture within yourself, and then you will find it comes.
Right. Or you can think of a time that you were confident or an area where you feel confident and map that over.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. Great. And
I'm looking at the time.
Yeah. So I'm wrapping up.
Consider yourself
I'm
golded.
wrapped. So you have some more dreams for us. Oh, I have a quote. Can I share my quote? Because I know you brought one too. Okay. So this is from Michael Meade. We have to risk being full of ourselves in order to see what we're full of.
Oh, very good. It looked like a lot more writing on the page. I think you condensed it. Okay, we're going to take another break and we will be back with you in a moment. You're listening to So You Think You're Awake. Hi, I'm Michael Sheridan and I'm here to tell you about my new book. In 1990, I had a spontaneous awakening and the veil between the physical world and the spirit world was lifted for me. I didn't believe in the spirit world, but that no longer mattered. I was looking at it. My new sight didn't give me answers, but it opened my mind enough to begin asking questions. It would ultimately lead me to discover that the spirit world is always involved in everything we do. My book reveals what I learned about the spirit world as I stumbled through my journey, and is titled My Journey to Awakening, and is now available on Amazon for Kindle and in paperback. My Journey to Awakening by Michael Sheridan.
Hello, this is Heidi. How can I help you?
You tell me. You're the psychic.
That's not how it works. I am a medium. I connect to your spirit guides and loved ones and pass on their messages to you.
So why did I call? Use the Force, Heidi.
Look, I can get answers to any questions you ask. That's not a problem. They can be about anything: relationships, career, children, finances, anything.
Anything? Okay. What's my favorite color?
Dave, your mom says you're being childish.
For readings with Heidi, go to angelsontheline.com.
How clear is your vision for your life? Are you living on purpose, bringing your dreams to reality? I can help you to hear the quiet voice of your heart, guiding you in the right direction. I'm Susan Pullen with True Radiance Healing Arts. Let's talk about how you can create the life you want and be the person you were born to be. Contact me today at true-radiance.com.
More talk, less rock. Come on, that's a good thing. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back to So You Think You're Awake with Michael Sheridan, Heidi Brooke and Susan Pullen. Our show is about dreams, guidance and healing. Our phone number is 425-373-5527. And Heidi, we know you're on mute because you're not in a proper studio, so we just want to say hello.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, there's the proof. That's what we were looking for. It's the live Heidi. Could you read the headline from today's newspaper, Heidi? Okay, no, just kidding. All right, anyway, if anybody calls with a question for you, you're there. That's great. But you're actually really on holidays in Ireland.
Yeah, is it still Thursday there? I guess it is, huh?
It is. It's
yeah,
late.
it's actually just coming up to 8 o'clock. So I had a bit of a panic earlier trying to figure it out because I forgot we had daylight savings in the States and didn't have it here. So I was, there's a bit of a panic there for a minute.
Okay, yeah. Like last Friday, she texted and said, hey, I can be on the show over Skype. And I said, yeah, but it was yesterday.
Yeah, I did do that. Yeah, I lost a day traveling over, so it wasn't really my fault.
Oh, no.
That's how you know you're really on holiday.
Susan was talking about brains in and out of the body earlier. So, thank you.
Outer body experience. That's
right.
Okay, so Susan, you wanted to say that you have that on your blog. We never actually really push your blog, but you have a blog where you post articles on a would I say regular basis, or is it becoming more regular?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It is a newly regular basis.
And what's the address?
So it's true-radiance.com. And so I've got all the key points from building confidence posted on the blog for you today.
Okay, great. So that for the people taking notes, they can go back there.
That's right. Yeah, because I know you can't take notes while you're driving in your car.
Okay, so let's have a look at another dream from Jenny. She says, in my dream, my father had died and my sister and I came upon some kind of shrine or memorial for him in the neighborhood I grew up in. So again, we see this is so common in dreams. They bring you back to childhood. So bringing you back to the neighborhood you grew up in, and then your father dying, he's not dead in reality. So it's saying that you need to let the influence of your father die. This is your father from your childhood. Now, he may be influencing you today in some way, and it's going to be about that influence too, if it's a negative influence. But quite often, we don't realize how much of an impact we carry from our parents in childhood when we didn't have an ability to rationalize. So we often say on the show that being in your brain too much is a bad thing, but being able to rationalize is a very good thing, and we don't have that ability as a child. So we take all the criticisms on board. They come straight through unfiltered and just accept it as this is a fact about me, regardless of what the problem is. So this dream is saying that this is something that you've probably been reluctant to do because we see the shrine or memorial there. So memorial can even be a pun on the fact that it's memories carried over from childhood that affect you. We went to get something to add to it, and when we came back, a car with a woman in it was beside it. The shrine was gone, and that's good. And we didn't know if she had removed it or what had happened. So the woman in the car is you, of course, and it's saying it's your karma to eliminate the negative effects of these issues in childhood. Very straightforward dream, a life purpose dream. And is there anything I'm skipping in that? No, there isn't. Okay. So let's have a look at another one. She says, last night I dreamt that I was sitting in front of a mirror talking with a young, long-haired blonde woman, and I made a comment on her gorgeous nails painted purple. She then gave me the bottle of purple nail polish as a gift. The bottle was white with a purple lid and a purple symbol on the front. The symbol looked like a vertical wavy line, like a long stretched out S for Superman, Supergirl in your case.
Excuse me.
What?
Superwoman.
Actually, there was an article about that. Why did they say that? I forget where I read that. Why is it gone to boys? Or maybe it was in a movie I read. It was in a movie. The one with Robert De Niro, The Intern. Very good. Chick flick. There, how sexist is that? Thought you'd fix me. Yeah, but they do say Supergirl. That's what it's called. There's a show on called Supergirl.
Yeah. And
it's only brand new. Few weeks. It's in the first season.
Okay, maybe I'm just out of touch.
Yes.
Keep going.
Where's your brain? I felt a deep sense of gratitude that she would give this to me. Okay, so what we have is a very short dream. Susan lengthened it there, of course.
Yeah.
But so the mirrors have to do with, typically, but not always, they have to do with reproduction. Now, I didn't get to talk to this dreamer beforehand, so the question would be, were you talking to somebody else about raising kids? Why does raising kids come up for you so succinctly in your dream? But that's what the mirror has to do with. And then the fingernails have also got to do with that. So teeth and fingernails are also symbols for that. So you have the classic symbols for it in your dream. But so it's saying, okay, get over whatever issues you have where you think you wouldn't make a good mom because you would. Because this blonde woman is a guide. They typically are blonde in dreams. They don't have to be, but they typically are. So we know she's a guide. And she gives you a gift. So she has two of the symbols that guides typically do. She gives you a gift. And the gift is this white bottle with a purple lid. So this is also about your crown chakra. So you're also a leader. And you need to wear that on your chest. You need to realize that you have leadership qualities and recognize that within yourself. I'm sure you do, But the dream is saying, like, almost like Supergirl, wear a cape and let people know that way. But anyway, it's good. So it's good. I know that you've worked on issues with your dad. You've finished cutting the ties with your dad. So it's great to see a huge shift in your dreams like this, where it's shown a female thing and this huge sense of gratitude that you received this gift. So what else? White is to do with confidence, actually. There you go. White is the color for confidence in dreams. It's one of the key words for it. So confidence in your spiritual leadership ability and recognizing, although with this dream, I would say you do recognize that you have it. So let's have a look at another one. I'm driving home, going around a corner, and there's a detour sign. That's the whole dream. Very straightforward. It's saying that on your path right now, you're wondering if you're taking the right path or whether you've somehow taken a detour. So now that could be, it could be where somebody's telling you do something or whatever it happens to be. But anyway, no, not necessarily. It's just an issue in your mind. Another short dream from the same dreamer. Hands reaching out to me holding a box. So, okay, another gift being handed to you in a dream. And the hands reaching out says that you're a hands-on healer. So that's really good. Very short. I love the really short dreams. So I'm looking for other ones here. And I'm also looking at the time.
But it's a box.
It's, yeah. Well, she limits her hands-on healing ability. But it's still a gift.
Yeah.
I'm going to take both. But yeah, so, and that's something we were talking about before. Why were we talking about before? We were talking about limitation, and boxes and squares also symbolize limitation. So it's saying you're limiting your hands-on healing ability, but it's still your ability. So here's another one. Looking for short ones again because looking at the time. In the dream, I'm driving down the road in the right lane. A truck in the left lane makes a right turn into the driveway, but does not have enough room to maneuver the curve. I hope we didn't do this one before. I need to back up slightly to let the truck fully enter the driveway. Behind me is another truck, which is not allowing me to back up, and the dream fades. So this is about your career. And in fact, this dreamer has resigned from her place of work, so that's good, since this dream. And so it's saying that your career is blocking you. It's got you boxed in, limited. I mean, you can't go forward, you can't go back. Going backwards in a dream is not good anyway. Sometimes in a dream, it's just saying, look, you feel like you're going back, but you're not. So here it's saying, yeah, your career isn't going to be the career you're in now isn't the one that's going to take you forward in life. It's really going to cut you off, like it does in the dream. So there was another dream that we had with a mirror in it. Is this it? Oh, yeah. I see myself in a large mirror. Not a nice dream, this one. Never good in my dreams, and my face has black rot in the skin. So remember, mirrors have to do with reproduction, the reproductive system, and why? Because they reproduce an image of you. This dream is about your reproductive system, and then when we see the face has black rot in the skin, there's mold growing from within. This is like a serious yeast infection. It's on my cheeks, around my eyes, in my forehead. I'm suddenly aware it's a dream, and that's good. Okay, so it kind of ends there, and then she gets curious about things. So it's saying, look, you need to realize that you've got a yeast infection that's going on. Do something about it. The black color in the dream is not really good, never good. So it's saying there's an issue there that needs to be taken care of because it'll become worse unless you do something about it. And I'm wondering, do we have any time to do anything else? We kind of do. So let's have a quick look at one. I'm inside a giant snow globe. There are no figurines or buildings inside, just me, the water and the snow. I'm looking for a door to get out. Excellent in a dream. I find the door and open it and step out of the snow globe. Oddly, the water does not come pouring out when I open the door, but stays inside. I skip and dance around the outside of the giant snow globe. So the snow is about being cold, not physically cold, but cold to others in a way, implying that you don't share yourself emotionally with others. So you've got to deal with that. But you get out of the snow globe, and that's very good. So I am looking now for our quote. And I can't believe I've buried it under lots and lots and lots of pages.
You have you can't see this, but Michael has a huge stack, enormous, like
I've got it now.
Like our dream
you
is
want to
5
filibuster
hours long.
this. Susan wants to filibuster this, and I'm not going to let her, and you'll see why in a moment. So I want to say thank you to our engineer, Eric Ryder, our engineer and producer. Thanks to Heidi for connecting with us from Ireland over Skype. Thanks to Susan, of course, and thank you to me. Thank you. And the quote for this week is from our own Susan Pullen, from one of her blogs. She says, I won't be wishing you all good things. because I want much more for you than that. I wish you all the depth and richness that life has to offer, including those experiences that help us to develop in our fullest capacity. I really love that.
Thanks, Michael.
See you next week.